Hello students, welcome to our English class. I am Roopna Ravindran, Assistant Professor of English, Government Degree College, Chevalla in Rangareddy District, Telangana State. Today, let us discuss a poem, As I Grew Older, written by Langston Hughes. Coming to the next slide, you have the poet's pick here. Langston Hughes is an important figure in the 20th century African American literature. He was born in 1902 and he died in 1967. His parents divorced when he was a young child and his father moved to Mexico. He was raised by his grandmother until he was 13 years old. So after graduating from high school, he spent a year in Mexico, followed by a year at Columbia University in New York City. He lived through racial oppression. His great-grandmothers were slaves. He wrote about racial oppression of African Americans in America. In his writings, he glorified African American lives. His writings also represented black middle class people. The themes of his writings were mainly African American culture, racism that they faced in their life, slavery, and also a sense of hope that they had in their heart. He was one of the first African American writers to support their culture. So he wrote the poem The Negro Speaks of Rivers after his graduation from school, and it was published in the Crisis in 1921. In November 1924, he moved to Washington, D.C. His first book of poetry, The Weary Blues, was published in 1926. Even this poem, As I Grew Older, is included in the collection The Weary Blues. He wrote it in 1925 and it got published in the year 1926. He finished his college education at Lincoln University in Pennsylvania 3 years later. So this Lincoln University is also called Black Universities. They were even discriminated in education. So they were not allowed to go to every university and study. In 1930, his first novel, Not Without Laughter, was published in 1930. It won the Harmon Gold Medal for Literature. He wrote novels, short stories, plays, and poetry. He is known for his engagement with the world of jazz and the influence it had on his writings. So he is very much influenced by jazz music and his poetry are mainly called jazz poetry. We'll discuss about all that later on in this PPT. He is known for his engagement with the world of jazz and influence it had on his writing, as in his book-length poem Montage of a Dream Deferred, that was published in the year 1951. His life and work were enormously important in shaping the artistic contributions of Harlem Renaissance of the 1920s. So it is a very important movement in the African American literature. So we'll discuss about it later on. Other important works are simple books. There are a lot of books with the title simple in the beginning. So they are called simple books. He edited anthologies, The Poetry of the Negro and The Book of Negro Folklore. He wrote an acclaimed autobiography, The Big Sea, published in 1940. And he also co-wrote the play Mule Bone with Zora Neale Hurston. Now let us get acquainted with a few terms before we discuss the poem and its context in detail. Here we have the glossary of terms where we have to learn these important terms. Unless and until you have an idea about these terms, you will not be able to understand the poem. So the first term given is African American. Who are African Americans? African Americans are descendants of once enslaved black people. Many of the ancestors of these African Americans were brought from Africa by force to work in the United States. Their rights were severely limited. Even after generations passed, their rights were limited. They were denied a rightful share in the economic, social and political progress of the United States. Earlier they were called Negroes. Actually, it is not proper to use the word Negroes. It is a derogatory term. So in the 21st century, the terms Black and African Americans were widely used. To mention a few influential Black Americans are Barack Obama, the 44th President of United States, Martin Luther King Jr., who is a civil rights activist and Baptist minister. So, he hoped for an America with equal opportunities for Black. During 1942 to 1962, he led the civil rights movement in America. You might have heard about his famous speech titled, "I Have a Dream." So other famous African Americans are Muhammad Ali, the boxer and activist, Maya Angelou, poet and activist, Toni Morrison, who is a novelist and a playwright. Malcolm X was also a civil rights activist and a minister. Very famous person. Even his autobiography is equally famous. Then you have Jesse Owens, an athlete, African American athlete, Serena Williams, the tennis player, Michael Jackson, pop singer, Oprah Winfrey, who is a philanthropist and media person as well. So many people like this have rose to greatness despite facing hardships in life. So the second term that we have to discuss is racial discrimination. Racial discrimination is any kind of discrimination against individuals on the basis of their skin color or race or their ethnic origin. So racism in the United States existed since the colonial period. It involved laws, practices, everything, every action that discriminated groups of people based on their skin color, their race and their ethnicity, their origin. White Americans enjoyed legally or socially sanctioned privileges and rights, but these rights and privileges were denied to African Americans. Formerly, racial discrimination was largely banned by the mid-20th century, and over that period of time, it came to be perceived as socially and morally unacceptable. It's not good. People try to understand that racism is not good. It should be banned. But there are certain percentage of people who even today discriminate black people in America. Third term is African American literature. African American literature is the body of literature produced by African American writers. It actually begins with the work of 18th century writer like Phyllis Wheatley. So this was actually dominated by autobiographical spiritual narratives. They were largely called, this genre was largely called slave narratives. which are actually accounts of people, that is writings of people who have come out of slavery. And after coming out of the life of slave, they write about their journey to freedom, how they have come to the free life, and the ways that they claimed their free life, the ways in which they have claimed their free life. Next is Harlem Renaissance. Harlem Renaissance is a very important movement which happened in the neighborhood in the northern section of the New York City, in Manhattan. So this Harlem Renaissance was during the period of 1920 to 1930. During this period, there was an outpour of artistic and literary work, particularly from the black community. There were musicians, writers, dramatists, everyone coming out with their artistic and literary work. So freedom and equality were the main themes of these artistic and literary works. They asserted that blacks will be able to live a life without conflict, which is free of conflict. During this period, African art and literature came to the notice of well-known publishers. Earlier, these publishers considered African American literature or African American artistry as insignificant, but they came to realize the worth of these writings and artistic works during the Harlem Renaissance period. So Langston Hughes is one of the significant writers of Harlem Renaissance period. His poetry, written during 1920s and 1930s, are born out of the inspiration from Harlem Renaissance. Next one is jazz music. It is a music that originated in the African American communities of New Orleans in the United States in the late 19th and early 20th century. It has the element of free expression in it. So the poems of Langston Hughes are also called jazz poetry. Now let us go to the next slide. Here you have detailed description about Harlem Renaissance, jazz poetry and Langston Hughes. Langston Hughes was one of the most important writers and thinkers of Harlem Renaissance. Harlem Renaissance, as we said, is an important African American artistic and literary movement that began in 1920. So this movement celebrated black life and culture. So the intellectual and cultural activity among the black community flourished during this time. Hughes' creative genius was influenced by his life in New York City, Harlem, a primarily African American neighborhood. There were millions of African Americans living in this place. His literary works helped shape American literature and politics. Hughes, like others active in Harlem Renaissance, had a strong sense of racial pride. He had the strong sense of racial pride. So through his poetry, novels, plays, essays and other kinds of writings, he promoted equality for African Americans. He condemned racism. He spoke and wrote against racism and injustice. And he celebrated African American culture, humor and spirituality. He rejoiced in black heritage and creativity. He glorified their culture, their heritage and their creativity. His poetry is closely connected to jazz music. In fact, he founded the style of poetry called jazz poetry, which is inspired by the jazz music. So jazz music celebrates free expression. So even in this poetry, we find the rhythm which is spoken aloud reflects the sound that jazz music makes. So both has similarities. That's why these kinds of poetry are named after jazz music. I hope you are clear about the context of this poem. As I Grew Older was first published in 1925 and is included in Langston Hughes' first collection of poems, The Weary Blues. The poem is about one's dream in life, the hardships one has to endure, and the strong will one needs to have in order to achieve their goals and realize dreams. So it is particularly about the dream of an African American. It is not about anybody's dream, but it is particularly about the dream of an African American individual surrounded by the ideas of oppression and fighting against it. So he is not able to achieve his childhood dreams due to the racial discrimination and prejudice. It is easy to dream, and dreams do provide a source of inspiration, but a determined effort is needed to transform dreams to reality. So to transform the dreams to reality, that action is not so easy for an African American. But even if there are odds against you, you should be determined and you have to work and achieve towards your goal. That is what the poem says. The journey is very much difficult, doubly difficult for the speaker of the poem because of the discrimination he faces as an African American person. The poem thus dramatizes the anguish of those who are victims of racial discrimination. However, by juxtaposing the images of light and shadow, Hughes turns the conflict between hope and despair into a universal achievement. So his message has universal importance. For an African American, the journey is doubly difficult, but for others also there may be hurdles in life. So you have to take this great message from the poem and drive inspiration in you. So even if there are odds against you in your life, you can be determined and you have to work and achieve your goal. So here is the poem. Let me read the poem and you also read along with me. So let us discuss the poem. As I Grew Older, written by Langston Hughes. It was a long time ago. I have almost forgotten my dream, but it was there then in front of me, bright like a sun. So it is in the past. I was a child then, long time ago. But now, in the present, I have almost forgotten my dream. But in my childhood, it was there. The dream was there, very clear, very bright like a sun. The dream was so bright, it gave me so much of hope, and it was there just in front of me, my dream. And then the wall rose slowly between me and my dream. But what happened when I grew up? There was a wall that grew between me and my dream. African American children face many obstacles in life. They don't have equal opportunities for education also in the United States. So they have separate schools, black universities like Lincoln universities, where they have to pursue the education. So these kind of discrimination is very much pertinent around in the society, in the American society. So that situation created a wall between the dream and the speaker and the writer. So the wall came slowly. Only after growing up, slowly growing up, he realized that there are many hurdles, many difficulties in the life of an African American. It rose until it touched the sky. The wall of racial discrimination, the wall of prejudice, it rose until it touched the sky. Usually we say that sky is the limit. So here, till the sky, the wall of the discrimination rose. So there is no hope left. What is left? Only shadow is left for me. I can only see the wall in front. I cannot see the beautiful world in front of me. I can only see the dark shadow. I am black. Why is the situation like this? Because I am black. I am discriminated due to my color. I am looked different because of my racial issues, because of my ethnicity, because my great grandparents were slaves. That is why I am looked down upon. I lie down in the shadow, but this hurts me a lot. It shouldn't be like that. We also should get equal opportunities. We are also born and brought up in the United States. So we too have the right to get equal opportunities in the United States. So I feel so hurt. So what am I doing? The speaker is lying down in the shadow created by the big wall of racial discrimination. No longer the light of my dream is before me. Now I cannot see the sun, I cannot see the light, I cannot see the bright world. I can only see the dark shadow. There is a big wall in front of me, before me, above me, only the thick wall. I can only see the wall. There is nothing ahead of that. So I can only see the wall and the shadow. My hands, how are my hands? My hands are dark, my dark hands, but it is very strong, strong enough to break through the wall. I feel like breaking through the wall. I have a hope that America should give equal opportunities for the black as well. So I have that strong feeling in my mind, and I am determined, I am bold. My hands are also strong. So what am I going to do? I am going to break through this wall of racial discrimination and find my dream. So I am going to search my dream, breaking the prejudices, breaking the discriminations that are laid before me. Help me to shatter this darkness. So you all come together, come along with me to help me to shatter this darkness. So all black people, be in solidarity. Let us all do this together. Let us break through this wall. Help me to shatter this darkness, to smash this night. We don't need this darkness. We don't need this this night. We need light. We need daytime. We need opportunities, not this dark life. To break this shadow into 1,000 lights of sun. So we have to break this shadow, we have to break the strong wall, and we have to run into the world where we can watch the 1,000 lights of sun, into 1,000 whirling dreams. So that bright world will definitely offer us 1,000 whirling dreams of sun. So African Americans can definitely break through the walls created by white Americans, and their dreams can be achieved if they fight for it. They have to fight for their rights, and definitely their rights will be achieved. They can achieve their dreams. Very powerful poem. by the African American writer Langston Hughes, which is very much autobiographical in nature. Almost each and every child in African America will be going through these kind of ambiguities in their mind, difficulties in their mind, facing the racial discrimination. They are all victims of racial discrimination. So coming to the technicalities of this poem, there is only one stanza in the poem. The poem is not divided into different stanza. It is like a free verse with simple diction. There is no difficult word that he has used in the poem, and there is no regular rhyme scheme also. There is one thing, if you observe, you can see the rhythm of the poem in the beginning is steady. When he is talking about his childhood, he is using a steady rhythm, because out of his innocence he is not able to identify the racial discrimination that is prevailing around him. But when he grows up, when he becomes an adult, he has the pressure of prejudice and discrimination. So this pressure can be felt in the lines 8, 9, 10, 11 and all. You observe these lines are all very short. He is using very limited words. And after he gets motivation, and after he says that his hands are strong enough to break through the wall, again the lines become long when compared to that of the earlier lines in the poem. So he gains motivation to fight oppression, and he fights for the rights of his people, of the people of African descent, African Americans. Now here you have reading comprehension questions. What did the poet have a long time ago? The poet had a dream which is bright like a sun. What does the poet compare his dream to? Very easy. Tell me the answer. Yeah. I'm going to the third question. What made the poet forget his dream? There was a wall of racial discrimination that rose between him and his dream. So that made him forget his dream. What do you think the wall refers to? That you can answer. What message does the poem convey? The poem conveys a message of universal importance. That is that even if there are many difficulties standing against you, you can be very strong, very determined, and work and achieve your goal. I hope you get a slice of African American life through this poetry. You enjoyed reading it. Thank you. Thank you for listening.